stop the silence, come out and we talk about it and say it out. This is the feeling. This is what we are going through. Being a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or intersex person, you do not need any different rights. So we need that awareness for everyone to stand up together. And that takes an activist to do that. You can be one, but through you, all the people, like in my case, they follow suit, that if there is success, he has succeeded from coming out and live to it, then that means I can live my life.
When I had the opportunity to meet him in his work environment in Swaziland, looking at what he made of Rock of Hope, and I think his choice of a name of an organization is incredibly telling of his thought about foundational issues of feeling and care, and spirituality. Because when we think of Rock of Hope and we think of that, it's not necessarily, it doesn't jump out at you as LGBT organization. It jumps out at you as an organization that thinks about future and feeling and care. And Rock of Hope was what Malume founded. And in many ways, when you live in a country where sexual orientation and gender identity is not even legalized, where the provision of health care for trans people are not realized, I think it's an appropriate name to say we are a rock, that we're unbreakable, we're untouchable in many respects, that we're not going anywhere. Malume is almost the kind of example that in many ways we talk about the complexities of activism and how our activism is so affected by issues of the politics of affect and friendship and compassion and care. And he really exuded this example that it's almost impossible to do this kind of work without thinking about affect and feeling, and that feeling mattered, and that whether it was a joyful feeling or a painful feeling, that in that present space he was that caring spirit. This past week is an example of, across our continent and across the world, that people who know him know what loss we are all going through right now.
I met him in 2014 when I was working as a part of GTRAP, Global Trans Research and Advocacy Project. On his name tag, he had his name, and he had under it the Gentle Giant. And that's exactly what he was. Just a beautiful, beautiful person.
Malume's name is Gentle Giant. Was very much suitable for him because he was very soft-spoken, smiling all the time, loved by many.
He almost had this parental kind of way of approaching activism, that to him it was that as an activist, I think even just to him as a personal responsibility, he felt that he needed to be a Malume to all of us, to be a father to some of us, to be an older brother to some of us, while at the same time being somebody who was very approachable, that you were able to talk to about anything, work-related, personal.
I remember his smile and the energy he brought to the room. Sometimes talking about injustice all day long can feel so heavy, but Malume had a way of taking that and infusing it with so much joy.
just exuding this wonderful energy, gave lots of wonderful hugs.
But at the same time, he could stand tall at the front line of defending our human rights.
And I just remember him just being a force, a wonderful force, and a person wanting to be there to represent his region in Swaziland.
The thing that sticks out to me was the fervence with which he talked about the movement in Swaziland, not just in terms of his own work, but as an invitation to everyone else in the room to come and experience his country, to contribute, and to connect.
I don't know if I should worry or cry, because usually I know exactly how to feel, because the likes of me and Malume died through hate crimes. But when it is a natural cause, one never knows. The only thing that I think is remaining now is for me and you to continue where Malume left off, to continue building our movement, to continue standing and fighting for what we believe is our birthright. I will really miss Uncle.
But there's one thing I will take away from him knowing Malume, and those are basic values that he has instilled in many of us. And it's about listen, learn, and voice yourself, and ensure that your voice is the voice of many.
Malume, we've known each other a really long time. You've been my friend, you've been my mentor, you've been many things to me, you've been many things to many people. Swaziland has lost a hero, Africa has lost a hero, but we know your legacy and we will continue doing the work that you started. We know why we have to do this, because the fight continues. We have to do it for ourselves. May your soul rest forever in peace. I love you always, and we shall meet again.
As a person who's been part of the lesbian, gay, and transgender movement, queer movement, I've kind of been used to, we're familiar with death in many ways. We're familiar with death through hate crimes. We know how to navigate space so that we escape death. But what this death has shown us is that we cannot escape it. And that's why it's been so difficult. It's left me without a language. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to process it. So maybe this thing that I wrote will say something about what it is that we are feeling, what it is that I'm feeling. The giants amongst us. Many have lived amongst us. Some of them are us, often taking on the world, putting their bodies on the line, risking all we've got, even with nothing, giving the world our everything, our bodies. It is those giants we cry for, the giants whose life mourning does not suffice, the giants who live gaping wounds that no words can heal, giants for whom tears can never be enough. Their deaths leave us speechless, without a language to package the deep experience of loss. For these deaths, the numbness pokes at our hearts. It provokes impossible questions. Who takes care of the giant? Malume, uncle, baba, or panda? Who is there to carry you? when you have carried the world? Who is there to wipe your tears when everyday's pains suck the life out of you? Who checks up on you when your life has not been yours? Who guards your heart when its pulse beats for life? Malume, our giant, a gentle soul, a big spirit, a huge heart. Malume, you did your part. Ubungu Malume, father and mother together, carer of our pains, strength for our weaknesses. Your body carried us. Your arms embraced the big and small amongst us. Your love engulfed our brokenness. Malume, bearer of our pains, soldier to the war against our existence. Senze njani ngaphandle kwakho? Singabalekela kubani na xa ungekho? Inhliziyo zethu ziyakhala. Zikhalela iqhawe elinguwe. Kodwa eyakho inhliziyo iphumlile. Phumla Malume. Ugqatso ulufezile. Ubomi usiphile. Naku sisamile. Lala ngoxolo qhawe lamaqhawe. Siyabulela Mshengu.